This is the Frontline Breaking News.
Hello, I am Kweku Anan. We bring out this declassified report. The Frontline show unimpeachable source can confirm unequivocation the dexterity by some state top security and intelligence officers want to secure freedom and a passage of a storm over their heads against the backdrop of possible facing prosecution if the new administration take off. This development, however, is fast thickening and soon to make a landfall following the circumstances the nation's security architecture was heavily abused and also turned as a cash cow, or if you like, a money-making machinery and a rag to mop the floor. Nevertheless, the Frontline show has again uncovered huge funds at the corridors of some echelons in the new administration, i.e., at the presidency, to secure a smooth transition against any backlash, according to our deep source intelligence. Moreover, it is believed that every nation's socio-political economic forwardness certainly and largely depends on its security and intelligence policy driven. Ironically, the torchbearers of the state departed from this phenomenon, making the intelligence and security and intelligence agency absolutely in a hanging balance. Meanwhile, the Frontline show uncovered yet another disturbing intelligence revealing the outgoing National Security Coordinator Edward Kwekwasmenin recently received State Honor Award, had packed family relatives at the National Security HQ ostensibly to undermine the John Dramani Mahama's administration, according to some security report. Shall we go through some of the report and pick the bits and pieces of this, folks? Very disturbing indeed. Well, the reports we have here, of course, we read a couple of this report to our viewers before, but for the purposes of what we are closing up and what is coming at the inner perimeter of the front line, let's again quickly, throw back. Now, this report says that it says specifically most of the appointees accused the National Security Coordinator Edward Kwekwasmenin for their demise. The group indicated Asmeni had refused to increase, and this time here they are talking about operatives allowance. And I have to say, folks, this report is going to deepen and it's going to unveil, disclose why, to some extent, in 2024, the National Security Minister, together with the Defense Minister, plus the Regional Minister, Greater Accra, Henry Korte, all these persons were brutalized, were manhandled at the apex of the president, His Excellency Adodan Akufo-Addo. Now, the report goes on further to say that, yes, all of this was due to the National Security Coordinator's doing. Of course, says that for their demise. And it goes on to say, the group indicated as many had refused to increase the allowance, their 1,000 allowance to 2,000 as directed by Rebecca Ekufu and the President of Ghana. It goes on to say, allegations are that Kweku Asmini sits on the allowance on monthly basis for his own parochial expenditures at the detriment of the operatives. Here the report again continues, says, most of the operatives asked lambasted Kweku Asmini for his sudden ill-gotten wealth, including show-off of a high-end Range Rover LX 600 SUV, Land Cruisers, and other high-end luxury vehicles valued at $300,000 when he was said to have lived a painless life at the mercy of Akosua Menu, aspiring Adentan MP. Some operatives again assigned to research department indicate Asmini was a taxi driver in the UK. Thus, any serious thinking operatives would find it difficult to take any sort of instruction from Asmini. It goes on and on and on. And then a portion of the report here says Asmini continues to push his family and friends into permanent positions within the Ministry of National Security, whilst party operatives who had hoped for permanent contracts have started panicking for a known turn of events during the December 2024. These are some portions of the report we picked, and we've made portions of this report available to our listeners and viewers. Now, folks, nevertheless, on the 13th of December 2024, the National Security Minister, Albert Kandapa, was kidnapped at the apex of government on his way to a meeting by security operatives accused the coordinator and the minister, respectively, of embezzling their salaries and allowance for the past 8 years into the Akufo-Addo's led government. Well, folks, the Frontline had intercepted an audio recording where security operatives making their way to the minister's residence. Take a listen to this.
Minya, kwa yesi ye pesi ye ko mampeni ho echina no enye support ya de ko mam o mampeni de so no wawie na adwuma support bembiem ni hia sika na yemfa ma yemfa ma yemfa ntua ye ka ene kakra na yesi yemfa ma yemfa nkofie no so mo mpɛ so de ma ye no eno ho asɛm ne ye ko ka kyerɛ mampeni sɛ ne sika na kodi ni ho no ono no chairman of the National Security Council. The sika no omo dia koma no on kan che ne say yaba on fa yesika mfa ma yen because Monday enwumre twemu a asa sika ne yen sanka bi mo fa sa sika na saka ye 6000 no mo fa kwakwa di no say 6000 ne kro mo titi ye no kra so mo de obi sika e mana e was say individual bia enya 576,000, which is 5,760 million. And I was saying, come on, mampeni kachira yen say, utua yen ka meaningfully. It is like etimi save because we can make a meaningful life. So what you say? Enti mo mampeni e kan sa asem no. Say 7,000 or de ma yen krasi. Yesi enum ye de kra na yesi e gbakohwi bra kra na yetua. Ye save 2,000 a month kra mpokura na. Aka for 8 years no. We have enough money. Aka de obesi de esidan. De obetu kwa kra tu kwa kra san wo sika won account mu. Do no so ye ni business cry ye ni business. So what you say? Say sika ni na ye ko na nye support bi e de ko na mama pani de so no wawie na adwuma. Support be bi e de ko ma no. Sika ni na ye ko. Sika ni e na ye ko. Me da say.
Good. Consequently, the Frontline can confirm a committee had been formed to investigate the incident, including avalanche of leakages of security reports to the press. Folks, ebusiei memamu na kwa babium san mamo afishapa mosonfo kweku anan ana yade nsam no eba begu on yabobɔ no tofa de kenkan wo brofo mu me sure se mo amopɛ brofo tie no matini na na mahu ni ti ene ne nan asɛm yade abetu yi de yekan na kyerɛ sɛ ɔmanpani a ɔman yiyi no ɛyɛ the president elect, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. What topaye bi so as topaye no enche se wanhwem yi a sa topaye ebeji wum na ji bum so a asam no woye na edebeba no ohuni ye ni na kyerɛ sɛ ɔmen asoye baako a sɛ yɛse yɛmfa yie so nkasa sa asoye no ene na ekuta ɔman ni na, and nobody make a mistake on this. Me say asoye baako a ekuta ɔman no nesan kuta presidency no sɛ enu ni hɔ a ɔmanpani no ontimi nya n'edwuma emfe nkosi enu ni hɔ a edwuma bia ɔmanpani John Dramani Mahama a promise Ghana for so ɔbɛn no ewura no me say ontimi nya na wo bia wo tie me including NDC mpanimfoɔ momfa maso mmra asɛm wei so na monya asɛm bi na wiafoɔ na sɛ mutumi yɛ nso a ɛyɛ mo ankasa mo yie yi mo ntumi nso a ɛyɛ mo amasɛm a asoe ya meka ho asɛm ɛyɛ bia yɛ for the national security ɛyɛ dwumaku a wɔnom na ɛbɔ me na ɛho ban fiepie atɔyɛ ane ɔman no wɔn na ɛhyɛ wɔn nsa president ne bɛko president ne bawo enipa bɛdidi enipa bɛno bibia yɛyɛ wɔ ha biara egyina ɔman no national security ne so. The national security no so said the enim no ɛno nso no ɛyɛ nkrabata ahodoɔ bebree including one more wɔn hwiehwie ɛfam no wɔn tietie nsɛm a yɛ from the intelligence agency for a ebi ɛyɛ hemfa okɔ national security wa yɛwɔ ɛyɛ intelligence team ɛwɔ hɔ ansa na yɛwɔ nkrabata nankasa nso a wɔn mo ɛnso na yɛ in charge of the intelligence gathering ɛnɛ kane no ne yɛ from the BNI, the Bureau of National Investigations. You see, yɛabɛsɛ sɛ wɔn din ayɛ no the NIB, National Investigations Bureau. Say dwumakuo nyinaa ɛka bom ɛne nkrabata ahodoɔ bi pii ɛna ɛfɔm national security. Ewuranom asɛm a abɛda hɔ no sɛ saa mpanimfoɔ yi a wɔn wɔ national security hɔ yi ɛbiri wɔn di mmirikatuo pa adagye sɛ anim o wɔn kɔ henfa wɔn etu anamo yɛ deɛ wɔn betumi biara sɛ ɔmampanin John Dramani bɛba no ɔmfa ne nsa ɛmbɛkeka wɔn anaa ɔmba ɛmbɛbie wɔn asɛm so sɛ ebi a wɔn ayɛ sɛ anaa wɔn ayɛ sɛ nkantimpo sɛ ebi a sɛ prosecution bi wɔn ɛbɛ prosecute mpanimfoɔ bi a yɛ prosecute wɔn ewuranom NDC mpanimfoɔ including president-elect asɛmi sɛ obi bɛnya bi na obɛnya ɛna ɔde bɛma owura John Dramani Mahama ɛhyira nka ho sɛ NDC mpanimfoɔ nso bɛtie saa asɛm wei na asɛm wei mu de akɔ adwendwen mu atase ne sɛ besini kɔni ahaban na mu de yi ato yi a ɛhyira nka mo na manka ne yi na manfa nto yi a well ɛbrɛ ne so a deɛ mo pɛ sɛ mo hunu so mo bɛhu ne nyinara sɛ saa mpanimfoɔ yi esi nkete sɛ wɔn mo yɛ anamotuo biara sɛ ɛbɛyɛ owura John Mahama ehu nsamoni bi a wɔn mo die ɛwɔ national security wɔ folks na ne nyinaa ne titiri no ɛne somo no a yɛde bɔ no yɛde bɔ hwan the national security coordinator ɔbɛhyɛ ɛhɔ ɛbra ɛyɛ owura Gabi Asarɔkyerɛdaako ɛna ɔbɛsi saa papa yi ɔde ne bɛsi anan sɛ ɔno ɛna ɔmam na yɛ ɔman national security coordinator mobɛkae a ɛbiri bi abɛsen kɔ na ɛyɛ owura former BNI director ɛyɛ owura Kyerɛmɛ sɛbi wɔnya ne baabi kɔ bɛyɛ national security coordinator yɛwɔ mu a ankyɛ ɛne yɛde ɛyɛ ambassador yɛfrɛ ne sɛn ambassador Berefi papa yi din he was a former defense intelligence director of defense intelligence yɛde ne bɛhyɛ hɔnom a ɔno nso bɛyɛ coordinator ɛwɔ hɔ a kyerɛ sɛ the current coordinator wei ɔno na ɔyɛ den o follow papa yi ne footprint na wetumi ehu edwuma ne yie afi owura Kwaku Asomani ɛbɛhyɛ hɔnom a deɛ ɔyɛ ne sɛ anaasɛ deɛ wayɛ koduro ne sɛ ɔde national security edwumakuo yi ɛde bɛyɛ konkosie ɛhɔ ɛna ɔde adwiri sika ɛhɔ ɛna ɔde abɔ korɔno ɛhɔ ɛna ɔde adi nsɛmɔne a saa nsɛmɔne no mɛtumi aka sɛ the president-elect John Dramani Mahama ɛni ɛho idea baako sei na sɛ ewura no mɛkyerɛ mu bɔne a the national security coordinator na ɛyɛ owura Kwaku Asomani meka sɛ nimfoni ɛnenam ɛyɛ story ɛde ato hɔ yi a ewura no ɛhu yie papapapapapa na ɛno ne yɛsi so biom sɛ anamontu a ɛyɛ Kwaku Asomani no astarte wɔtu no ɔtu sɛ afi ɔno ni ɔne NDC mpanimfo no bi benya anobaabayɛ ɛma meka sɛ ɔne NDC mpanimfo bebree enya anobaabayɛ to the extent sɛ afi information bi a yɛnsa ka on impeachable source bi kyerɛ sɛ wasese sika akɛse in bags ɛde akɔma mpanimfo bi at the presidency sɛ sɛ mpanimfo no enso sɛ sika yi mu na ɔmo mfa yɛ den you see and sɛbe national security panin biara no ɔho sɛ wodi nsɛmɔne na saa nsɛmɔne no wo mpɛ sɛ enipa bɛhu akyira kwan as far as the new government ɛyɛ concerned the most often times wɔn yɛ ane sɛ aban na wɔba no na ɔno edi nkan ɛde biribi ekohyia wɔm ebi ne sɛn ɛne otumi pagya biribi te sɛ cars sika nneɛma bebree sɛ enimonim yɛ munya ntena aseɛ no munyi wei mfa ntoto nneɛma 1 2 3 nim ne ade asif sɛ ɔdɔm asif sɛ ɔpɔm asɛm daabi ɔboa wɔde saa nneɛma ni close saa kwan ne sɛ bɛyɛ a aban ne ba eni ɛmma no ho na afei nso yɛnyɛ den yɛnhwɛ ne nnwuma a ɔyɛ wɔ hɔ wei ɛna mebɔ NDC mpanimfoɔ kɔkɔ na meyi mu asutire sɛ saa national security coordinator na nkotodwe egu from Mr. President-elect John Dramani Mahama yɛpamokyɛw Onye nipa some man ne free just like that. I would urge the President-elect John Dramani Mahama administration, we investigating National Security Coordinator very well. Now, me jidi say we ready, some be investigating now. Some of us, we are prepared and ready to provide evidence, to provide report. Ghana phone be Rebecca before I hear holidays, including say yeba abetwaba. Yet the reports be brave etuga ebi yedianya. It be a national security JCI report. JCI stands for what? Joint Intelligence Reporter. And no nyamina metroye, we intercepted all of them. JCI report comprises of one the security chiefs made up of one fire service, immigration, customs, police, the military, the BNI, national security nakasa kaho. And penifo the heads of these security chiefs ena ne kabo mu na wo hwe reporter won mu tre efa owura kwekwasom ho a the kwasem bebre menkan report ne nkyere mo sa report we ameye mu a mokai report we illustrated and afi reveal say sa kwekwasom ni national security peni ba ko a owura gabi asoro chida ko de ne beto aso wa boni a wedi wo ho no ehu yie. Security chief said what omenim na ya aware said at a point he was engaged in the illegal transporting of gold outside Ghana. He was also doing what he called money laundering. He was also doing trading in narcotics, cocaine. And yami kweku na mekae ni na ewo JCI reporting. Na ebri minimu gusu aye kase. And ne ye ayatine say papai asese sika in bags. Akoma NDC mpenifobia some penifoi womo presidency na for the purpose of say ye person NDC mpenifo taking matter way serious, we would want to withhold the name of the nipanwa say CK allegedly say kusi ninsem ye wodin ye obibia ema ye ne NDC mpenifo bi so akasa se womo hwe ade bi no mo hwe niye no mo fa feedback mra. At this time we will hold on to our intel and rather would ask John Dramani Mahama to quickly act and act swiftly and make sure say some national security chief will be one among the first people SSC interdict or near investigations. It's say the properties are national security coordinator way Edward Kwekwasumini etwa no ho ahia e wo memu ha no eranum easy na eno ne ye kan ye report nim baby say odesa aswoye no edebeye sikape odebeye ahunya de pe eno san susu edebeye den edebe pre sika edema ne ho ene aban mu mpenimfo minim se bebre so mate say ye kase national security operatives bebre atietua me be kan sa report no so kire mo say wonu mu kire say NPP aban no so ko ahomgie mu a they are going to resort to niama miensa. One, they would make sure say one more ebeti a gangsters operative squad one be tra or main wishia aqua pro edin samone fanese for want of a one be embarking on some criminal offense activities. Afi one more chese one be MPP penifo no be no ma abduct or kidnap them and kill them. Afinzu one be bull mu fie no mo castle adije mu sika enema bebre ye ka say abani yen take you over nanso bebre na matete say there's a movement out there ankrofo ankrofo shops no mo fie ye neoma basane other state offense organizations edemra show mo nsa ensmp ye nu be bia just a couple of days now we've heard 2 states markets have been burned to ashes in Accra and in Kumasi. And they're very, very serious. Folks, and nyoma na eba no nyoma ano diniye. Bebre su na matete se national security mpenifo affairs emranti completely serious. Make us say ya intercepted some of the audio recordings kire kwanya sa security operatives one person one the former national security minister Kandapa one de ne faso ne ade including say one ko ni fie ede no mo kwakwa ye ofie ho yen saka audio recording bi mafi memati sa audio recording no ewo some national security platform bi so any idea one person me. Take a listen to this. Folks, now, you didn't know my air baby season. The ye pese a catcher on my penny, aoba, ebisia kunyasu nenichne, John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, say, San National Security Coordinator, aye quick information and also that no so say, or the enipa pi ebewura national security, edumakonuma, sani pay, one ye just ordinary Ghanaians kekeo, on one nebusiafo, and or do maybe rerao. Juma odo mu bedi per our high place intelligence source treze sankrovui obe yusu mu nara as a decoy not their source information some information ebeye nyoma ope with the new administration na womudi di juma not just ostensibly sa information ya konia se ombefa so e dey den atwe abane form because at the national security hono enyamani bebre be koso at the seat of government or any be free aba hot discussions be Rebecca so national security mpanyinfo will be part of cabinet briefings, cabinet debriefings, and in Yoma Bibre. A also any nipa betime information say ye poma mpanyini ya senwa ye de be free. Iranum. We ma ye hu say omampani awoba John Dramani Mahama otetopa ye bi so. Na se wanhwe ne ye ema nieme bia anan ho di ewo ho a e de asem kese ye beba. Aban no be se wo ye ne dwuma nanso na ne na egu abonten. There who cry in the coming days, Yadeba Tuga, and the saying, a Konya National Security Coordinator way Edward Kwekwesmini. One ama a rababy, our ye jumo national security war. Womudine ekoko share BNI cells for 3 months. Diaba Samoa. Womususu ehuni say rano. Oni openi bi a yempese bebonidi or a Ghanaian, a top-notch businessman be kudin komwa. Sa Ray or a Ghanaian, and this lady was also trained by the U.S. intelligence agency, the CIA. No ye jumo national security war. Say Ray, one mususu on you be kudim komo. If you like, omu believe say Irano was doing what you call trade secrets and espionage. Into omuchi Irano ko share cells 3 months. No omu ye Irano ayakayaka dia. Same way ekokopie the seat of government. The chief of staff Fremont Opare ekopie nenim president ankasa enim saasame nanso di omo kachire ora Kwekwasmeni so onye no wanye. Momu di erane ni di ama chese Ray was one of the national security top analysts. The beyana say Irano or resign a free service no. Irana resign ya ye kase ehu fear and panic. Womudia to Irano so Irano edwania kwoshe baby no. Folks, in the coming days, same way, will blow the full top secret covering this. You be blow ni na to her Ghana for me who say in this day and era, a crime ben so and the state security organization a bit me subjecting ordinary Ghanaian away in to such a horrendous torture, including say they conducted what you call polygraph on the life of this woman. Now, in our next episode, the circumstances leading to conducting a polygraph on this woman. And we all know, and any student of security and intelligence will know, polygraph is absolutely untenable in our jurisprudence, and it cannot, will not, and may not be an applicable method for which polygraph can be done on any human being, be that of a national security operatives or ordinary Ghanaian out there. Now, so all of this were under the supervision of the National Security Coordinator, Edward Kwekwasmeni Womudiaye Enipa. Any Enipa who do a Womugu national security wa torture wom. Now a lot of people, and I would say to the President-elect John Dramani Mahama, to halt the entire national security architecture. Na yen sign shishen yoma fofro from the BNI or the NIB to national security. Na yeman yoma eho ente. Isan say enye na no yenim national security under the operations of Francis Poku. Enye na no yenim national security under the operation of Larry Kendall Bevlo Lati. Enye na no yenim national security under Ora Tutubi Kwachi. No national security na I say. Na somampeni John Dramani sebe beye sutie ne wetie ya futuo ya de yebeka kire ne se asem ye kan onfa sa asem we serious na afi yenye nhyehyeye papa ewo national security wo ema national security ne emeye edwuma sebe eho be ya akono. The national security will be more enviable, and again it will be more, it would attract its usefulness and achieving its usefulness. It is still in the usefulness, but again it looks as though the national security in the state in which are mpenimfo na eba ho no edi edwuma no etwitwi fom na omudi esi konko edi aye nyoma no. The national security coordinator has a lot to answer. Ye ka say ne properties bebre ewo memwe, including Mirage 2. Mirage 2 is just behind the Foreign Affairs Ministry, just around the proximity of airport. Ujina sa high sky building where so directs the events in Kotoka International Airport, the tarmac and also, which even poses security threat to the nation. This building belongs to Rakwepasmeni. Now, the Ebe can say, so man peninu ebe shem year to year. A thorough investigations must be carried on this national security coordinator who had no training from anywhere. All to say, according to report, he was just a taxi driver in London and brought in by Gabi Asoro, became a member of Ochedakun's DI, and that's the Dankwa Institute. And then subsequently, Yadene Koshe National Security to understudy Ura, former Ghana's ambassador, Obe National Security Coordinator, at the same time also a former director of intelligence at the military, all right? And the ambassador, Edu Amafo, Ambassador Edu Amafo, the circumstances also leading to Edu Amafo exited from national security is another story. Nina, the circumstances, Ambassador Edu Amafo, free national security ni nara ifrisa orei national security coordinator edru baby no afi ora kandapa a ono ye national security minister no nim de obeye chese abrantie echechire national security mpenifo nara ensa guomachi de asembone de to ambassador Edu Amafo so a man national security fo bi kra no ekọ papa ne fie ekoye demonstration ha ebi nsi Ghana da. Under the history of our national security architecture, national security operatives echo Ambassador Edu Amafo fie ekoye demonstration. Folks, this is very serious. Now, the amount is because Somampeni President John Mahama anye careful. The failure of his administration will not come from any of the ministry, but the National Security Ministry. Enunti and yesheno because yenim say. The National Security Coordinator, he has a lot of multiple sources in the NDC. I am per se bebu biti. Yenimpa na minim se NDC mpedifo so enim sa adeno. Any ye ka say information so the canary bed and so e yinie maybe so acha sika we kukru e de ama NDC mpedifo bi ya yedin ye hwe. Na enche ebribeba sa peni kunu ase sika no kodi ne nsam no. Omampeni John Mahama obete. Oh yes, obete. Inti ye mo matias say so makogigi ni me be free the old government ni mpenimfo bi ho a mo return sa nneman say be ya mpenimfo yi a mo can say Adodanko Akufo-Addo led government will face proper prosecution and proper accountability before the sight of Ghanaians. Folks, yet Mubesia, and then trust me, in the very possible days, the front line will resume on the best and the finest television, class TV media. For to gauge the space, and the Americans say, continue to subscribe to our channel, my CTVGH. Subscribe. So the program be atua usubenye binwashe nenyoma adedana kwemo. Folks, my name still remains Kweku Anan, your investigative journalist. This is the front line. You are what you view and you are what you listen to. Stay tuned. I'll be back shortly. Bye for now.